It's been for me, and as well as for my friend Mr. King, it's been becoming a bit of a tradition for like when we did the Laugh Center to look back at Bond films, and we've done that quite a few times when it comes to drive-in as well. So this is the first time we've looked at a modern, more modern Bond film. In this case, Die Another Day. I think this one was like the one where like say I don't know, I don't think I ever saw this one growing up. I mean, I might have seen previews of it or like sequences of where like say the surfs up sequence. Hang 10 and all that. And like I suppose like say I've like like when growing up I used to watch a lot of the classic Bonders, like say a lot of the Roger Moore era and Sean Connery. And also like around the time when I was in high school, we had the um Daniel Craig films. What was this one about? He tries to locate a traitor in British intelligence who portrayed him, and a British billionaire who was later revealed to be connected to a North Korea operative who Bond seemingly killed. So some of the influences that this one takes from would include Moonraker, The Man with the Golden Gun, and as well as the Colonel's Son. And then you have like the a staple of this series, which the title song of the film was sung by Madonna. And I'll be honest and say I kind of like say the opening, like say they always have the opening song, which has graphics and all that. I kind of like it. I mean, it gets you interested in, like, say, oh, hey, this one feels like it's going to be a bit darker. Like, there's moments, like, say, animations to make it where we get the idea, like, say, hey, Bond is being held hostage and all that. If, like, say, oh, shit. And some of the ideas that they're trying to do, like, say, okay, like, especially for the character of Gustav Graves, I feel like say, I feel like what they're trying to do is like say they're trying to like say okay, gene splicing to like make it seem like someone looks different, and I kind of like say okay, this seems like something that would have been an idea that would have taken place in the classic Bond films. At least I think it could have been a thing. Perhaps it wasn't. And I mean, honest, I like Bond with the beard. I like how it looks.
I'm checking out. Thanks for the kiss of life.
Security breach on level 3. All personnel to Kensington Red.
I like your beard.
It looks really good. And we also have like moments like say, hey, where you have new gadgets from Q, played by John Cleese in this film.
Q. shoot down mobile objects. Why don't you acquaint yourself with the manuals? You'll be able to shoot through that in a couple of hours.
Just took a few seconds, Q.
Wish I could make you vanish.
And there's always those moments, like say when we're like discovering like the new weapons, all that. That's always fun. So majority of the film, like when it comes to locations, takes place in Tokyo and also Iceland. And having been to Iceland before, yes, I remember like saying like when I went to a certain area that had all the snow and ice. I mean, like say the way they filmed it here makes me think, say, maybe that'd be fun to go back to that place again. And I really think that the moment in which we're introduced to the character of Jinx, like when Bond like see her like say, "Ooh, that looks nice," with the bikini she's wearing, that Halle Berry wears in the film. I'm just saying, like, say, I kind of agree. I like the bikini. I mean, I kind of like it. I'm honest to say that. And I don't know. I think she works I think Halle Berry works as a Bond girl. I don't think she does. And I'm gonna be honest and say, I think in that like modern context, I really think that when we look at the character of Gustav Graves, like yeah, he's trying like the character is like really influenced like say by a lot of like billionaires or folks that have influence. By today's perspective, that would have been Elon. I mean, and I really like the sequence in which Bond and Graves like they have like their sequence where they are sword fighting and all that. That's a lot of fun, and it kind of shows like say, okay, yeah, Gustav or Graves, he's just like say, like you will not beat me, and all that. Uh, and you also have the character, and you have Rosamund Pike, who plays the character of Miranda Frost, who is a MI5 agent. That idea of like say, okay, we're gonna have two Bond girls, but one of them's actually a double agent. That's a lot of fun. And I do wonder this, like the moments in which, like, say when they're on Graves, frozen base in Iceland, where he has his cocktail dinner party sequence, and it just makes me wonder, like, say, okay, what, like, did they get inspiration from like a location in Iceland, or is it just like say, hey, let's make an entire fortress and make it look like it's made of ice and all that? I mean, because at the same time, like, the whole idea that Graves want to do as his grand master plan is he is wanting to use what's known as Icarus, which is a giant satellite beam in the sky to basically melt, like, like say, or, like, be another sun. And at some time, I also think it's kind of ironic in that the idea of Icarus, like, when we look back and we look at the, mythology of that idea, which is, like, say, a man flies too close to the sun and eventually peters down or falls down. because like the sun ends up burning his wings. I really did think at times the action sequences, especially on the base, are a lot of fun, and you can get a lot out of like say the driving sequences in the fact that the car for this film can become invisible. And yeah, I thought the action sequences were fun. The set design wasn't too bad for this one. Is this one I mean, here's the thing. Sometimes with some Bond films, they can be like, sometimes they can be say, bona fide classic. And or sometimes they'll be like say, it has its issues, but at the same time it can still be rather fun to look back at. And I think in a way that's a bit of the case for Die Another Day. It at times can be silly. It has its sense of fun about itself. But at the same time, I'm not gonna really say, hey, we're gonna put this one at the very top of the, what we consider the classics. I do think it does do a good toe to the line between like say, hey, we're gonna be silly, but at the same time we're gonna have some moments of like say real world things, like the idea of like uh influential folks that like have a sense of power in the world. I do think in that the death sequence for the character of Graves is hilarious. Like he's just like say, "No, Bond, you will never dream again." Because throughout the entire time he's saying, I don't dream because if I dream, I cannot like get like let things happen." And I do love how like he has like a shock buzzer. So one thing that Bond does is he goes like say he pulls his parachute and then he like hits the button in the middle of his suit, which causes him to go like say let
Time to face gravity!
go, and it just flies through the engine of the jet, and goes. And yeah, I didn't think this one was too bad. It was fun. I mean, I really do think it's a lot of fun to like look back at Bond films, especially during the holiday season. They're a lot of fun, and that's just what I think about this one. It's a bit of a fun film. But what's your thoughts? Um, what's your favorite Bond film, and who is your favorite Bond actor? See you next time.